Hello everyone, welcome to today's video, and today we're gonna go over why Mr. Freeze should be the main villain of the Batman 2 and why either Ianzo Espeso or Brian Cranston should play him. Now, I'm a big fan of Mr. Freeze and I'm a big fan of Breaking Bad, and when I see those two actors, I can tell that those are made for this character. But the problem is which one of them should play him. And I'm gonna talk a little bit of what Mr. Freeze story might be in the Batman 2. And I'm gonna talk about why those two actors should be the one to play him, or either of those two should be the one to play him. So with that out of the way, let's get started. Well, let's start with why Giovanna Espesso should be the Mr. Freeze, or why he's one of my pick for Mr. Freeze. And it's actually because of the similarities. Is when I look at him, I can see a character or actor, that could play this role. Not only will he be able to look like Mr. Freeze, but I think he can pull him off really well. Let's say if instead of having a sympathetic villain, we can have a pure evil Mr. Freeze. Maybe not adopt the heart or eyes after all. Of course, I kind of want to be a little bit wrong about that, because Heart of Ice is the best story with Mr. Freeze, but I do consider him to play him. He's really good at playing villains, and that's mostly the reason why I want him to be Mr. Freeze, to be honest, because he's such good actor to play villains. Now let's talk about why Brian Cranston should play Mr. Freeze. When I first saw Breaking Bad, I fell in love with his character Walter White. He played that character so well, and if you can bring little similarities into this Mr. Freeze, have him be a sympathetic villain, then I think that can work as well. And then I think you can adopt the Heart of Ice. Let's see, this he worked maybe for the Mafia or Penguin or whoever, and that's how it got started, and things only went downhill from there. Who knows? But that is one of the things I can see happening. Another thing is that if you can bring him in and give this character a really great look, I do believe this can work really well. I haven't seen so much else with Brian Cranston in recent year, so I really want to see how he will play if he get this role, and that is actually why I want him here. It's maybe not a good excuse to why I want him, but I do want to see the actor who played Walter White get a shot at another villain instead of an anti-hero. No, I believe the story depends on which actor playing. If Giovanna plays him, then I think the story will go a little bit that he's still after revenge on the Mafia, but not because his wife died or something, but because he was just some punk working for Penguin who got betrayed by Penguin and the Mafia, and now he's after revenge with his cold gun. And if you actually know a little bit about the real world, you will know that some cold gun actually exists in the real world. So you can still maybe get a Mr. Freeze that is realistic. I do not know if they're gonna make him maybe some mentally ill with this actor, but I would think they might would, and that's maybe why he wear such a suit, because he believes he have to be in cold temperature all the time. Not Sub-Zero because he would die, but maybe some, I don't know, but maybe something that keep his body cold, but still enough, but not so that he dies. So maybe I'm not gonna talk really much about the story because, to be honest, I don't know. Okay, but let's go to why Brian Larson could play a little bit different. Again, it is similarly. He was a character that started out good, but have to work from the mafia in order to earn enough money to save his wife from some disease or something. But when he fails to do what he needed to do, the penguin cut him off and leave maybe him for dead and let his wife die. Then again, it will be a simple revenge story as well, but it will give the character some more background, and you will be able to sympathize with the character more. And similar, he believes that he have to be in cold environment in order to survive, a little bit how Chuck was in Better Call Saul. So if you really want to bring in the Breaking Bad part to this actor and his character, then you make him a school teacher in maybe physics or whatever. I don't really know how it's called. I'm sorry. Or maybe it's science or whatever. I really forget a few words, but in that kind of classes. So that would be really great. It will make him feel even more like Walter White, but Walter White to a full villain. That would be pretty awesome.